Welcome to WEFM's 3 p.m. news. I'm your presenter, Jessica Klein. First on the local scene. Friday, 21st July 2023, will see the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank's lecture series in celebration of its 40th anniversary move to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, starting at 6 p.m. at the Beachcombers Hotel Conference Room. Members of the public are encouraged to join virtually via the ECCB Connect's Facebook page or YouTube channel due to limited space at the venue. The lecture, set to be held in SVG, will be held on the heels of the 105th meeting of the ECCB Monetary Council, which will see Finance Minister Camilo Gonçalves assume the chairmanship of the Monetary Council. The theme for the St. Vincent and the Grenadines edition is Education and Training, Skills for the 21st Century, Yellow and Green Economies. Following Wednesday night's shootings, Prime Minister to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, have insisted that the government remain resolute on fighting crime and that the security of each Vincentian be maintained as a priority. While speaking with the Agency for Public Information API, the Prime Minister said that security measures will be ramped up nationwide. Gonsalves said, "This fascination with guns and the guns coming in from the USA, and then the ease in which they come in, and then it's mixed with drugs and other matters of vanity and all kinds of quest for power through the gun, we have to look to see if there is external involvement of one kind or another." The Prime Minister urged Vincentians to cooperate with the police and law enforcement officials, as every effort will be made to bring perpetrators of Wednesday's killings to justice. Wednesday night's shooting left 5 individuals dead. Still on the local scene, the heads of government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the Republic of Cuba have committed to more scholarships for Vincentians and enhanced security for Cuban medical professionals during bilateral discussions held on the sidelines of the EU CELAC summit in Brussels earlier this week. The Prime Minister of SVG indicated that coming out of the meeting, there will be an increase in the number of scholarships for Vincentians to study in Cuba, and that enhanced security measures for Cuban doctors and professionals working in St. Vincent and the Grenadines were also explored. He said, "We express our gratitude for the enhanced number of scholarships being given to us and the strengthening of the bilateral relations. We discussed the recent incidents on Cuban doctors by 1 or 2 persons in St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the way in which we can strengthen the security." The President of Cuba, Miguel Mario Diaz-Canel, said among discussed matters were the expectations of CELAC at the summit and also follow-up discussions on issues raised during his visit to St. Vincent and the Grenadines in December of 2022. On the regional scene, Dominica passport holders will now need a visa to travel to and transit the United Kingdom due to concerns regarding Dominica's Citizenship by Investment (CBI) scheme. This announcement was made by Home Security Swella Braverman on Wednesday. Braverman said, "We are today imposing a visa requirement on all visitors from Dominica, Honduras, Namibia, Timor-Leste, and Vanuatu." She further stated, "Nationals of these countries will also be required to obtain a direct airside transit visa if they intend to transit via the UK, having booked travel to another country." According to Braverman, careful consideration of Dominica's and Vanuatu's operation by investment scheme shows clear and evident abuse, which includes granting citizenship to persons known to pose a risk to the United Kingdom. Still on the regional scene, court proceedings in Jamaica have been affected as prosecutors from the Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, ODPP, stage sit-ins in protest of better wages. Sources indicated to the Jamaica Observer that operations at the Court of Appeal, the Supreme Court, and the Circuit Courts in St. James, St. Elizabeth, Clarendon, and St. Catherine have been affected as prosecutors called a meeting to address their welfare, well-being, and the way forward on Thursday. The concerned prosecutors, ODPP, as signed in a release, stated that the letter was sent via email in May and a follow up was sent in July to the country's finance minister, Dr. Nigel Clark, expressing their concerns and the need for a meeting, to which they received no response up to the deadline, which was on July 19th. A source stated, "We wrote a letter to the powers that be from May 2023 asking for a meeting. The deadline was yesterday. We have been ignored, so we called a meeting today to discuss our well being." The prosecutors said they have deemed the lack of response as utter disregard and disrespect to prosecutors and added that they intend to continue their protests until they receive a response from the government. On the international scene, Sweden's embassy in Iraq has been stormed by hundreds of people who have scaled up the walls of the complex and torched the building. According to reports on the issue, they were protesting the second planned burning of the Quran in Sweden in under a month. The expulsion of Sweden's ambassador was also ordered by Iraq. Swedish officials condemned the attack and confirmed that all Baghdad embassy staff was safe. Sweden's police denied several applications earlier this year for protests, which were expected to include burning the Quran. But the country's courts ruled the protests should be allowed to go ahead, highlighting free speech laws. This has been WEFM's 3 p.m. news. I have been your presenter, Jessica Klein. Join us again at 5:30 p.m. for WEFM's evening news, and we thank you for listening.